What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. Now, if you want to be featured on our show, all you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. What's coming up on today's episode? Here it is. It's the rundown. Steve, we are jumping back again, my friend, into the Avengers with War of Wakanda. The Black Panther has arrived. All right, guys, Ubisoft just announced a new season coming to Rainbow Six Siege Crystal Guard. We're getting a new operator and a bunch of reworks.
Well, I agree with you. The environment and the aesthetic of everything matched those earlier Aliens movies really well.
Finally, I mean, this game has lost some of the biggest streamers, definitely a huge player base due to all the hacking and cheating that's been going on in the game, especially in Warzone.
I love the visual art style. To me, it reminds me of Tim Burton basically said, here's a game to produce, do your art style, off you go.
Looks like another great episode, so let's get started with Steve and I in the War of Wakanda. Steve, we're off to war. War of Wakanda.
Look at me now, count me down. So give me the crown. They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now.
Steve, we are jumping back again, my friend, into the Avengers with War of Wakanda. The Black Panther has arrived. And dude, I had a good time. I am now finished the game. Once again, unfortunately, right? It's one of those scenarios. It lasted for me about 6 hours. My power level ended at 61, and my overall level for Panther himself ended, I believe it's like 23. So it's the progression there I thought was good. At the very beginning, though, it was a little odd because for me to actually progress into the second mission, Panther wasn't high enough for me to actually get in, so I had to go off and do a couple side things in order to upgrade my Panther. I thought, oh, that's weird. I can't even continue the story. Overall, though, Steve, I've had a great time. I thought the story was really cool with Claw coming in, and they're all fighting over the vibranium of the War of Wakanda, for War of Wakanda, and everything was just, dude, the setting, the voice acting, the environment was just awesome for me. I'm glad I came back. It's for sure. I'm definitely glad I came back. How did you feel?
Exactly with you. I think this is what Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix needed, was a fresh intake on the Avengers. Instead of just updated graphics but still the same background, they actually revamped the whole style of this with the Wakanda. Absolutely amazing. Also, a big shout out to the voice actors as well. Obviously, you got Christopher Judge, who's the voice for Kratos, and he brings so much warmth and trueness to the character. And to me, with the Black Panther and T'Challa, he nailed it. And I know he didn't want to do this initially because obviously the late
Chadwick, unfortunately.
Chadwick Boswick sort of thing. Chadwick Boswick. So he done a phenomenal job on that, and it did actually immerse me into the game. But unfortunately, with the Avengers, I still had some slight issues and glitches. And one of them, to start off, was I just get this black orb that comes across the screen. I don't know what it was, or if it was supposed to be a character or anything. And it even actually just moves, and it actually goes larger as well, to a point of when I'm fighting, I couldn't see nothing.
That's weird.
But it did sort of get resolved after an update the next day.
Perfect.
But the other issue I did have was when you lock onto a character and you're fighting, and then the idea is you just hit your left stick and it'll go on to the next enemy to fight. But because the hordes were like more extreme this time round, and they do keep coming, it messed up my camera angle, and I didn't know who I was fighting a lot of times as well. I don't know if you had that kind of issue or if it was just me.
No, dude, this is just you. I didn't have these issues. I never saw this black orb. I didn't have a lock-on concern at all. I did get locked up, though, a few times, to the point where I had to completely restart the mission. That was irritating for me, it's just frustrating, right? When you all of a sudden you get in there and I'm fighting and I finished off, fought this huge spider and he just locked me up. And Panther's just kind of sitting there like this on his little prance, ready to kind of jump on the next one. And I can't move. Like I literally locked it, right? It's like, man, crap. Shut it down, get back into the game, boot up the mission to find out I have to start all over because I was right there at the end of the mission, right? And it's one of those, man, and that experience right there takes you out of the game, which is unfortunate because the entire game, Steve, was awesome. You know, this, like you said, this is what Crystal Dynamics needed to do to revamp Avengers. This is a free DLC. Now, you do have to pay if you don't have enough in-game currency for the challenge card, like me, because I spent all my points on other stuff. So I had to buy the challenge card, so they got me there. But still, free DLC for about what I figure is 6 hours after getting locked out for 2 sittings, kind of thing. So even all that said and done, I thought the story was awesome. I thought Claw as a villain for this time round was really cool. The ending, no spoilers, I thought was decent. Like it wasn't a little disappointment whatsoever. I thought that was a cool setting, cool way. I love this. I wanted, you and I were talking about this off camera, I want to see more of the city. Like we're in the jungle when you're actually playing the game, going out and experiencing it. But I want to see the city. They talk about the city and all the people that they care for and all this stuff. But you never saw the city, Steve. Like they touched on it, right? It's, you know it's there and it's lingering and you can see parts in the background and it looks awesome. But you don't actually you never got into the city. And that was one of the things I was kind of hoping we would get into, and it just never happened.
Yes. Also, another thing they did introduce as well was a new inventory display. And it was supposed to be made easier. Instead of going into like an outpost where you get your collectibles where you can then transfer them over to your inventory of your character. This idea now is you can actually do it on the go while you're actually in game instead of going to an outpost or the Quinjet or anything like that. But boy, I found it confusing as hell because all I kept doing was pushing the wrong buttons from the old from playing like 200 plus hours on my other characters of leveling up, and then I've just brought this new one in. It looks nice, but I was just deleting the wrong items or upgrading or dismantling.
So here's the issue, Steve. What happened is, and beforehand, the old menu would come up on the side, and you could see what items you had, and then you select them. Or at that time too, you could just hold L2. And it would select the highest power level. Now you have to go in. So for Panther, right? He's got an arm piece. You have to select that arm piece, go into the inventory, take a look to see which one is now the next upgrade, select that upgrade, but then in order for you to delete or dismantle everything, you have to hit the square button, because we're on PlayStation, to then go into manage your inventory. Then you need to hit the R2 button to select each item. Then you need to hold the R2 button. I'm like, this step, that step, this step, that step, this step, that step. Okay, yep. 10 steps later, and then I've dismantled my piece. I'm like, you got, like, no. That was a big step backwards when it comes to managing your inventory, right? The other one was a lot easier. This one I'm just like, why am I going through all these extra steps and procedures just to dismantle something that's lesser value to me than I currently have, right? And it's just, to me, that didn't make sense. That was irritating to me. It really, really was frustrating. And I'm hoping they fix that or do something. I know they just revamped this whole menu system. And I think the menu system overall, Steve, looks great. But the inventory management is a problem.
Yuri, did you really?
Steve, I think it's no secret, dude, I loved War of Wakanda. For me, overall, definitely a couple bugs like we always experience. It seems to be with these games of a service. But overall, I thought the voice acting was fantastic. I thought the War of Wakanda world itself was beautifully laid out. I love the level design. I love Claw. Panther is a quick and agile character. I love his fighting styles. His abilities are super cool. For me, it puts me right there with an 8.5.
Nice. I'm near enough with you on everything we just touched on about. I just thought this is what the game needed, was a new revamp, a new backdrop and everything like that. But unfortunately, still with the glitches for me, I'm giving this a 7.5.
Nice. War of Wakanda is the Marvel's Avengers expansion that makes a fan return. great addition to the lineup of heroes with Black Panther's quick, agile abilities will have you prancing on your enemies. The changes to the inventory system, however, wasn't for us. All right, guys, Ubisoft just announced a new season coming to Rainbow Six Siege Crystal Guard. We're getting a new operator and a bunch of reworks. Guys, overall thoughts on the new operator, Osa. Nate, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so we're getting a new shield operator.
Yeah.
And this shield operator is quite unique. Her shield can be deployed on the ground, kind of like a deployable shield. But the major difference is here is that it's fully transparent and you can actually launch this thing in doors and windows. So, and a big thing, you know, we were kind of discussing this off screen is, can she do it with a fully reinforced door, or does it have to be punched out or broken already? Well, good news is it can be, you can kind of stealth your way in, and if there's a wooden door that has been untouched, then you can slap your shield in there, and I don't know. I think this is actually going to bring quite a bit of diversity with the attack, because alongside this new operator, we're getting a whole bunch of reworks on maps and other operators from, you know, the original 20 operators. So this is all great news, guys. So first impressions, I'm excited, man. What about you, Corey?
You know what? This is kind of a big update for Siege. We're getting a new character as an attacker with a transparent bulletproof shield that she can deploy into windows. And it leaves a bit of a gap at the top. So, I mean, like we talked about earlier, Drew, it's one of those things where you can, you know, rappel from the top down and look in still. You could throw nades through. But again, because that hole's there, I mean, attackers can throw C4s through, or sorry, defenders can throw C4s back through. There's all different kinds of strategies, I think, that will come into play, especially when people are exposing, you know, the bomb rooms with one of these windows, and now they're going to get a view into the bomb room. And I can just see people, especially early on, once this starts to get implemented, will start to scramble in these rooms, right? Or try to just, you know, blow it out with an impact or a C4. So Nate said it, there's going to be a lot of diversity here as far as how people are going to approach playing this game with this new operator. It'll be really interesting to see kind of how people start to use her, because you know there's going to be people that are going to find ways to use her that are going to be really annoying. And the fact that she can set this shield up kind of anywhere, and that versatility in a character is going to be pretty difficult to deal with as a defender. And I mean, sometimes as defending, it's not always easy, especially when these new characters get introduced and you're dealing with some of these new strategies. So honestly, I'm excited for this update. Like Nate said, we're getting a ton of kind of changes, whether it's maps or operators. There's a lot of things happening here, and I think it's all, you know, in the right direction. Siege always does a good job at this, but this one just seems to be kind of overhauling a lot of things people were looking to change.
Absolutely. I think I would totally agree with that, Corey. It's I saw this whole rework of everything they're talking about, bringing in the new operator, changing up some of the maps and the designs there, and actually affecting some of the operators' outcome on what they're doing now too, with Fuse, IQ, and a couple others, right? So there's a lot of things that we're seeing now implemented that we've been looking forward to having someday, and now that they're finally happening. I think Osa is a cool operator, the fact that she can hold her shield too and like bring it in. But if you want to hit her with an impact, right, there goes her shield. But the minute she deploys that, man, like, this is really going to change up the game a lot. I want to quickly touch on the new maps as well. The new maps over on, well, not new maps, but the reworks for some of these maps, right? Like Coastline, we all been in Hookah, and then the one room behind us with that big window is now being closed off. What a significant change that's going to make it. So I don't know how many times I got picked off from that window, man. So
yeah, that one's a bad spot.
Absolutely, right? And then you get into Bank, they're closing off the windows up top. No longer can you snipe through anymore. I thought that was pretty good. And then Clubhouse is getting an extra doorway over at the bar area and allowing for some different rotations to happen and take place as well. So some exciting stuff. Now let's get into the actual operator changes. I think this is one of the most exciting parts. Not only are we getting Osa, which seems to have some cool utility to her, and I think I'm pretty excited to check out how she's going to change up the game as a whole. But one of the other biggest changes I think we've all been looking for, we just mentioned this off camera, but this should have happened like a long time ago, is that Twitch, her drone can now jump, which is the biggest change, right, Corey?
Finally.
Oh man, I
Oh,
think
man.
so. With her drone being able to jump now, her drone doesn't have a sort of a tase ability. It's actually a freaking laser beam. So it does 5 damage now with infinite range. This drone can jump and it destroys gadgets or utility. Instead of like some of them, I think bulletproof cameras for instance, it would just disable them. So now you're getting full destruction with her, with her drone. And this is just something we've needed. Thatcher is by far the most used and or banned operator when it comes to his utility, right? Like Callie's up there, but she's high level skill with that sniper rifle. So I think this is a great addition and something that like you said, Corey, Twitch has needed for a long time. But let's move into IQ now, because her ability, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where a lot of people, like very few people use it because there's so many good attacking operators, and just being able to see where the bomb is or where gadgets are and not be able to tell where your team wasn't very useful. But now you can actually ping all the gadgets with her ability.
Yeah, that's a really great move because again, she's one of the OG operators, hasn't had many changes throughout all these seasons we've had in Rainbow Six so far, and it's finally kind of giving her this level of utility that may allow her to be put into some of these matches. People may be more inclined to use her. Being able to pick out opposing teams' operators that have electronic devices on them, like people like Vigil and stuff like that, I think is going to be a huge advantage, right? They had to give her kind of this edge that really was never there. I mean, she had that gadget, but like you said, Nate, there's just so many better operators to choose that have abilities that are more helpful to the team or just more useful overall. So I think being able to have those changes for her is going to kind of bring another element, bring her into the fold a little more, maybe make it onto more 5-man rosters, maybe not into the pro leagues or anything like that, but I mean, especially into the, the casual play and the playing that we do. It's just, it'll be nice to see her kind of mixed in again, because this game's all about the variety. So if we're getting new operators and bringing old operators that are underused and putting them kind of in the spotlight again, I think that's a good thing for this game. It really switches things up.
Well,
man, if we're squatting up, now we can save our drones from sacrificing them to try to find the bomb room or just try to find or figure out who the operators are. You have an IQ on there, and she can figure it out right away at the start of the map, and she locates her bombs already. So, like, I don't know, man. I think this is a great thing for IQ. And actually, if I could just ask for one thing for her, man, they just need to make her AUG a little smaller. It takes up, like, almost half of your screen, man, and it's like my favorite gun. So if they could do that, then she might be one of my favorites. But sorry, Drew, what were you gonna say there a moment ago?
Well, I was gonna say, moving on to one last operator getting a couple changes is Fuse. We see him bombarding us everywhere as it is, and while they actually just stepped that up one more time, because now he can set his fuse charges on reinforced walls. Man, this guy is just going to be banned every single time you turn around now. I don't think anybody's ever going to see Fuse. When he does place the charge on a reinforced wall, it does take a little bit longer, giving you the ability as a defender to shoot his charge out. Great, but still, like, the guy's just unstoppable now.
Oh yeah, man.
You can't go through a reinforced wall. Sorry, Nate. I'm so shook as far as all the updates in this one go in the patch notes. You read that and you're like, he didn't need that.
No.
I mean, yeah, if you play Fuse, you're probably pretty excited. But if you play Fuse in ranked, you may not be that excited. Like you said, Drew, I think he's gonna get banned like crazy.
Yeah.
Unless it's so slow that it just, he maybe can only shoot 1 or 2 pucks off before, it gets really bad. But I mean, the fact that he's going to be able to set that off on reinforced walls, soft walls, there's not enough Jaeger devices out there to stop it now, let alone being able to do it through reinforced walls.
Man. Not four charges, man. If with this update, if they nerfed it maybe to 2 to 3,
I was thinking
depending
3.
on how slow and loud this thing is, then maybe. But 4, man, like you said, Drew, this character's going to be banned all the time. And I did one thing, though, I would love to, I'm really excited to see how all these operators, including the newest operator, are going to be used in Pro League, because that's where you really see how these characters can be used. And with all these adjustments, I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Well, there's just a few of the changes. We covered most of them, but there's still more on the way. Hit us up insidethegame.ca. Let us know what you think of all the changes coming to Siege.
Our agents may have their skill sets, but my designs, they give us the edge in the field.
Scott, this week we're locking and loading Aliens Fireteam Elite. Scott, this week we're checking out Aliens Fireteam Elite. It's a squad-based PvE shooter that kind of takes place, I believe it's 20 or so years after the original movie series, which is pretty cool. Kind of gets you into that, Aliens environment. And let me tell you, you do kind of get immersed because these environments in this game, I thought, looked really good. It was one of the first things I noticed jumping into this game. But it's, it's a simple idea overall what they're kind of giving us here. But before I get into too much details, what did you think kind of jumping into this cool game?
Well, I agree with you. The environment and the aesthetic of everything matched those earlier Aliens movies really well. I liked the long corridors, the different kind of just grime that's around with the synthetics that are standing and ready and wait. And I thought that was really cool. It matched that universe that they've grown over several movies. But
for sure.
When it comes to the gameplay, it got a little different than what I would have expected. But what was your first take?
Well, yeah, so kind of when you're jumping into this, they give you kind of this home base. We're on this ship Endeavor, and this is kind of our area where we can upgrade our classes, which there are 4 of them that we can choose from. There's the Gunner, the Demolisher, Technician, and then there's a Doc/Medic kind of class. And these classes, you can upgrade your weapons. There's different kind of loadouts you can choose as you go through, perks that you can throw on, attachments. There's quite a bit of customization as this game kind of lays it out for you right at the beginning, but they do kind of give you some pre-built loadouts on these classes already, so you can kind of just pick a class and jump in and go, which this game does a pretty good job of getting you to the action fairly quickly. It gives you a quick rundown of the main base when you get in there. You do some talking with some of the characters around the base, which I thought, I don't know about you, some of the voiceovers in this game were very well done. I mean, there isn't a ton of dialogue. You get through it fairly quickly, but it was all well done. It was just kind of a, a nice little touch on top of, like we said, how nice the environments and everything are in this game. So I did have a lot of fun, but jumping into kind of the combat, when you first get into it, you pick the class you want to do, and you can either jump in with 2 friends, or you can get into matchmaking with 2 random people, or you can just jump in with 2 other bots if you're just playing by yourself, which is kind of cool. Just to have somebody there, because if you're by yourself in this game, which you can't do, it would be probably impossible, because the swarms of aliens that come at you in this game, Scott, are wild. I mean, you're using up bullets like crazy when we're going from room to room here. Aliens are popping up from the left, right, they're climbing on the roof. I mean, it is a wild kind of fast-paced gameplay where each level, we kind of talked about this before the review, is each level's a checkpoint. There's no checkpoints within each level, so if you die, you got to start from the beginning again. And some of these levels can be 25, 30 minutes long, which if you get to the end of that and you die, it's frustrating to have to go back and do that all over again.
That difficulty is still kind of what's going to drive a lot of people to return to the game. So I think that's kind of a double-edged sword there. But in terms of the action, it was really, really intense. That's definitely the standout of this game. They call them the bugs, but when they come pouring through a hallway, it's quite intimidating at first. And depending on your class, you're just spraying down the area. I feel like there's a weird connection that I see between this game and Super Mario Sunshine. I know that sounds a little weird, but I feel like I'm just cleaning up paint off the walls. There's that many enemies, and it's really intense, especially compared to something like Aliens Isolation. That's the game that I had experience with before this in the Aliens universe, and I was kind of expecting the creepy and kind of stalker-ish feeling to come up, but it wasn't ever like that. It was more of a traditional, almost Left 4 Dead kind of style.
Just blasting aliens all over the place. There's some giant, xenomorph warriors that we're dealing with that are, holding guys up and they're crushing your teammates and you gotta get them off. I mean, it's wild. This game kind of gives you everything you need when you just want to jump in and have a lot of fun, and you don't really have to worry about it too much. They do a good job with the audio in this game. The music and the string music kind of picks up, when the alphas are running towards you or the aliens are popping out of vents behind you, because they do a good job with your teammates and some of the, the voiceovers through the game, the people you're communicating with, and they kind of let you know, the aliens are coming from the left now, or maybe they're coming from behind you. You do have a small kind of mini-map size radar scanner. I don't know how many times I would go back and replay this game. It was the one thing, it is a little frustrating when you get 30 minutes in and you die and you have to start back over again. Yeah. So, there's very few things here that I didn't have fun with when I played this game, but for $40, I think it does what it needs to do. I just don't know how much else it does on top of that. I don't know how much staying power this one's going to have overall. I think we've had a pretty good time blasting aliens all over space. If you've got to score this 1 out of 10, what are you going to give it?
Well, I really like the action loop. I find it very satisfying to just crush huge numbers of aliens and move on from those really intense parts. And I like that the look and the feel of it really seems like an alien movie, except for the fact that there is a million aliens coming at you, but I think that lends itself well to the player versus everything kind of environment. I think the squad mechanics are really cool when they work together. I think that was a great touch. And I really just kind of want to see more variance in the enemies, and that's kind of just holding it back from a higher score. I want to give this one a 7.5, a solid release.
You know what, man? I'm right there with you. I was kind of toying with a few scores here because I truly did have a lot of fun playing this game. And for $40, like you said, it just puts you in that Aliens universe perfectly, with whether it's the graphics or the audio, even the voiceovers with some of the characters, just even the sound of the guns, man. They did such a good job with it all. There could be some more variation with the aliens that do come in swarms throughout the game, but overall they did a great job here. It's just maybe doesn't have much staying power after that $40 is run out, if you know what I mean. But overall, this game was a ton of fun. I gotta give it a 7.5 as well.
Aliens Fireteam Elite is a high-paced action game with emphasis on squad mechanics. It has a familiar aesthetic as the Aliens universe in cinema.
Every year around this time, I feel like we're always talking about the next Call of Duty game, and this year it's no different. We're talking about Call of Duty Vanguard. We didn't really know too much about it other than the fact that we were going back to World War II again. I mean, Sledgehammer Games just has a way of doing things. I think they're going to really nail this one, and they're definitely kind of focusing this one a little more narrative driven, especially for the main story. So I'm kind of excited to see what we get. Activision has finally announced that we're going to be getting it on November 5th, which I think is pretty early. I mean, earlier in November, which is kind of nice. Normally we kind of get it mid-November, sometimes a little bit later, but it is nice we get it earlier this year. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what Sledgehammer's bringing to this kind of main story. They've kind of pushed it a little bit now that we've gotten a few details about the game, but honestly what I'm really looking forward to is a big change in Warzone. Raven Studios is going to be giving us a new map. They said it's probably going to be one of the biggest ones they've ever worked on or created, so I'm interested to see how this kind of stacks up to Verdansk. But the bigger thing here is they're going to be implementing an anti-cheat. Finally, I mean, this game has lost some of the biggest streamers, definitely a huge player base due to all the hacking and cheating that's been going on in the game, especially in Warzone. So it's going to be nice to see. Hopefully they can integrate this anti-cheat system that's going to be kind of seamlessly, in there, and going to help people just have a better quality, of life experience in this game and have better rounds and, you know, more fun. That's the idea here, is we play games to have fun. So I hope Raven Studios kind of nails this. I hope the map's good, but honestly, I'm really more interested in this anti-cheat working properly. So honestly, I think this kind of coming in with Vanguard is going to be good. They said they're going to be using the same tech that they used to create Vanguard in Warzone, so we're going to have kind of seamless integration when it comes to the weapons coming to Warzone, the operators coming to Warzone, and the fact is we're just basically going to have Vanguard, Black Ops, and, you know, Modern Warfare all together in this kind of Warzone mashup party, which I think is amazing. The fact that Call of Duty's managed to be able to stack these all together as the games have been released is really good. But I think Vanguard is going to be kind of this point that's going to smash it this year that people aren't really, you know, thinking about necessarily, because, you know, every year there's a new Call of Duty game. But, you know, Call of Duty's gotten to a point here, especially with the Warzone and the Battle Royale, it's just been really bad. So I think, you know, with a new game, it's a fresh take. Raven Studios says, hey, here's a new map, here's an anti-cheat, let's get back to having fun. So honestly, on November 5th, I'm super excited to be checking out Call of Duty Vanguard.
Alright guys, this week for the news, I'm talking about something that has been getting me super excited. I'm talking about rumors, and these rumors involve Bethesda forming a new studio that is fully involved in remasters and remakes. So to back some of these rumors up, Bethesda has actually posted on LinkedIn and on Twitter for job postings for a new studio. Now, it's not necessarily a remake and a remaster studio, but there's also a popular YouTube streamer, Skullsy, that has also been confirming all sorts of rumors involving Bethesda and a remake remaster studio. So wow guys, my mind is just flooding with ideas. If Dead Space can do a remaster of a game that's not even 15 years ago that still holds up to this day and is backwards compatible, why not get a Dishonored, a Quake, a Doom? The list is endless, guys. There are so many options within Bethesda's umbrella, and I think this is a great opportunity for maybe Microsoft to see how remakes and remasters do on their platform. Of course, they are pushing backwards compatibility, and Todd Howard himself has said, you know, if you want to play our game, then go play it on the original copy. And I do sort of agree with that, but not really. I mean, I really want a Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas remaster. Heck, I would even take a Fallout 4 remaster on this Creation Engine 2 that we're going to get with Starfield. So guys, let me know what you think about these rumors. What game do you want to see from Bethesda be reimagined? Me personally, I mean, if I had to pick one, I guess it would probably be Quake. It's close to Doom, and it's been years since we've had a solid single player Quake experience. Please though, hit me up on Discord or on our website with what your thoughts are on all of this.
It's unfortunate to hear that 343 Industries has just announced that they're delaying the campaign co-op and the Forge from Halo Infinite until after launch, and that's so they can focus more on the single player campaign and the multiplayer as well. And this was also backed up by Head of Creative Joseph Staten, that as we focused the team for shutdown and really focused on our quality experience for launch, we made the really tough decision to delay shipping campaign co-op for launch, and we also made the tough call to delay shipping Forge past launch as well. Joseph Staten also confirmed that the team has taken a seasonal release schedule for a campaign co-op and Forge, while Halo Infinite will launch with a single player mode and a season 1 of multiplayer. He also mentioned that the team is aiming to release campaign co-op in season 2 and Forge in season 3. And he also clarified that a new season will ship out every 3 months, meaning campaign co-op will not be released until 2022. In my opinion, 343 Industries could take as much time as they like, because at the end of the day, no one wants the attention that Cyberpunk 2077 got when that got released. So Drew, We've got to use our brains on this game.
Well, whatever you do, just leave me out of it. Ooh, is that honey pepper boar bacon?
So Drew, we jumped into Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine Productions. This is a continuation from the first one, and we managed to play this on the Xbox Series X. And I have to say, straight off, because this is a continuation from the first one, they do a nice little sketchbook intro of previously from the first one, which is a great help because it lets you know that you play Rasputin, or Raz as he likes to be called, who has psychic abilities, that runs away from the circus to join a summer camp with other people with psychic abilities. But there's a sinister plot going involved in this camp, which you have to solve. Also, your head Psychonaut leader, Truman Zonotto, gets kidnapped, and you have to go and save him, which you do, bring him back, but he's not right. And you also pick up on the way the kidnapper that captured him, which is Dr. Loboto, which is a dentist.
Yes.
And when you get back to the headquarters of the Psychonauts head base, which is called the Mother Lobe, things are not the same. Things have changed. You don't know what or why. And also, you believe that the kidnapper, Dr. Loboto, is in cahoots with someone else of capturing the leader. So, this is where Psychonauts 2 takes off, as you're now Raz as an intern in the Psychonauts Academy. I love the visual art style. To me, it reminds me of Tim Burton basically said, here's a game to produce. Do your art style, off you go. And I love every bit of this. How about your first impressions?
Well, first of all, like, just to be warned, I'm only a few hours in, so at the end of this, I'm not going to give it an actual review score. I'll just have my opinions throughout this review process today for Psychonauts 2. But for me, dude, I never played the first one, so getting caught up was nice. So that was a great addition. The art style is very unique, and I'm one for, you know, a dynamic style or something creative. And this is definitely a creative game. You start off in like a dude's mouth, and there's just like teeth and stuff everywhere. And I was like, what is going on in this game? This is easily, Steve, one of the most creative games I've ever played. Like, Double Fine is such a unique studio. I think they crushed this. As I said, though, I'm only a few hours in, right? But it's the plot, though, that's hooked me, and this idea of what's going on there. And I don't want to spoil what that is because it's really cool, and I'm having a blast. Even with the little time that I have jumped into the game, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's very unique. The art style, even though I love a good art style, this art style to me isn't quite hitting. It's not quite connecting with me the way other games in the past have. So for this one, I'm enjoying my time, Steve. I think everything works well. The voice acting is fantastic. The characters are creative, right? And the way they play off of the mind games within this game is such a unique spin. Dude, honestly, I'm loving the game. It is a blast to play, and I think Double Fine have got something in front of themselves once again, crushing it so far.
Oh, definitely. And this is a 3D platformer style game with puzzle solving as well. You do have abilities. I mean, you do start off with your normal punching, and you have your telekinesis that you can actually pick up objects and hurl them at people or items to find other collectibles. But also, on the progress, you do actually get other abilities. You get like levitation. You also get like pyrokinesis, where you can actually burn portraits to find hidden tunnels or secret rooms. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot going on within this game, and I like the nice little feature they give you is like an intern book where you can keep progress of the adventures or the missions you're doing currently. Also, you can use it to upgrade your psychic abilities to improve them to whether they last a little bit longer, or if you've got like a clairvoyancy, which you can actually go into the mind of a mouse or a rat and then look from their perspective to find things, so you can make that increase for a longer longer period of time to find those objects.
Steve, like I said off the top, just a few hours in and I'm already hooked. This game is definitely a memorable experience by Double Fine. It's such a creative team, and what a mind-bending game this has been so far for me. I have to recommend people check this out. So I said I'm early, so I'm gonna leave the scoring up to you. What are you giving this one?
Well, I absolutely love everything about this game. The quirkiness, the art style, the audio, the music, it all fits together. And for this, I'm giving this a mind-blowing 9 out of 10.
Woo.
Wait until Truman sees all the money I'm going to make.
Hollis, wait!
Psychonauts 2 is a stunning 3D platform puzzle-solving game that delivers with its unique art style, voiceover, and story that hooks you in. Psychonauts 2 is so much fun and should not be missed.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your bags.
Don't worry, Agent Forsyth. I can fix this.
Yo, what's up everybody? Did you know ITG Daily is a show that Scott and I cover each and every day with the latest in video game news? That's right, we cover the hottest in news every single day. You can join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, then you should hit us up later inside thegame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. What do we talk about? Well, things like this, so check it out. Scott, I want to talk about Splitgate, open beta extended for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Right? Splitgate, the free-to-play Halo meets Portal arena shooter, has enjoyed a rather successful open beta over the past few weeks. Hundreds of thousands of players have been having fun with Portals, and the full launch was supposed to kick off in July. However, developer 1047 Games postponed the release to this month to bolster servers strained by the high player count. Now we're mostly through August. 1047 has provided an unexpected update. Instead of going 1.0 soon, Splitgate will remain in open beta indefinitely. It's kind of like Fortnite.
Oh yeah, actually.
Right? Honestly, it is. That's kind of, why not? Do you need to actually launch a game? Scott, we just talked about it, dude. Patches. You just keep patching the game. You don't need to actually release the full game anymore these days.
Yeah, it can be early access forever, as we've seen in other cases. I didn't think about Fortnite, but that is funny and actually very equatable, I think.
Well, it's just where we're at right now these days, right? We're just work on your game. But here's so 1047 Games. I'm assuming, and you should never assume. Well, whatever, it is what it is. But I think they're a small studio, right? But you need to keep the lights on. How do you keep the lights on? You keep your game going. Keep it out there, right? You keep pushing it further and further and further. You keep updating the game. That's how you keep players engaged. You keep them involved. You keep them wanting coming back. Dude, there's a battle pass in the game. You can buy it. I took a look at it. It is nothing special, unfortunately.
No.
Right?
Alright, so this week in Level Up, I'm talking about the event Powering Up Thunder Mountain, all the benefits on this, and exactly how to do this quickly and most efficiently. There are a lot of events and workshops in this game, all of which give you different plans, resources, weapons, all sorts of different goodies. So today I'm going to be specifically talking about the event Powering Up Thunder Mountain and the workshop that is involved with Thunder Mountain. So as you can see here on the top right side of the map is where Thunder Mountain is located. So when fast traveling to Thunder Mountain, it puts you on the northern side of the building. So if you quickly follow my steps, I will take you to the workshop, because this is something you're going to want to take over firstly. So after clearing out all of the enemies, which can be a little frustrating sometimes trying to find them all, You then just claim the workshop. So the reason I say to claim this first is because immediately within like a couple minutes after claiming the workshop, it prompts an event to defend the workshop. So instead of having to waste your time later on after you've done this event, powering up Thunder Mountain, you can kind of avoid all that wasted time by claiming the workshop right away. So the reason you're going to want this workshop, it gives you an abundance of resources. You have uranium ore supply, you have wood scrap supply, you have raw crystal supply, you have a steel supply. And the most important thing about this is that you have a fusion core processor. So once killing all of the enemies and claiming this workshop, follow my lead exactly. Now there are 3 parts to powering up Thunder Mountain, and I like to always start with clearing off the outside parts on the roof. Now I do have a jetpack and I could bypass a lot of the annoying parts, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you how to do this without using a jetpack. But anyways, proceeding around this corner, up this catwalk, follow my steps directly. There are 3 things to fix exactly on the roof. One all by itself over here, close to the cooling tower. And then 2 across from each other on the other building opposite of where we are right now. So after fixing those 3 things, we quickly head down to the central point. Now from here we have 3 options. There's no specific order on how to do these 3, but I like to do these 3 in the order I'm about to show you. So first and foremost, let's get to the generator. So upon entering the main building here, it is really easy to actually access the room. After killing a few Scorched, you simply head to the right, head through this little room, through another hallway, and voila, you are in the first room in which you have to do repairs. Now my route isn't going to be the most perfect route, but I always find when I'm in third person perspective, it is just easy to kind of see how everything is while clearing out the enemies and fixing all these pipes and terminals. And a nice little useful tool that Bethesda throws at us is once you get to a certain point of repairing them, it actually highlights the rest of the objects in which you need to repair. So after cycling up and down all these catwalks, you have completed the generator. So moving directly back the way we came from, I always find that this is the easiest way to navigate through. So once you're back between these 2 buildings, again you can go to the cooling towers or you could do the reactor room. I then move over to the first cooling tower. So these might seem intimidating at first, but if you kind of follow my lead again, it's really not as complicated as it looks. You just walk up the catwalk, do a full circle as best as you can, looking for any steam that's popping out or any broken pipes, then walk up even furthermore where you can get a good perspective of any steam again popping out. And once you've kind of cleared most of the side, or if you actually do clear the whole side, it will then highlight all of the rest of the pipes you need to fix in the other cooling tower for you. So I find if I'm struggling trying to find all these pipes in one of the cooling towers, I will just simply move over to the next one and fix some more pipes over there. Again, once you get to a certain point, it highlights the remaining pipes that need to be fixed. So the beautiful thing is, again, these catwalks aren't identical, but the same idea is to be done with both of them. Again, walk, do a full perimeter as best as you can, fixing as many of the broken pipes, and then go to the top part of the catwalk and get a nice overlook of everything. So there you have it. The cooling towers and cooling system is fully repaired. Now to move on to the final part. To fix the reactor system, it is again a very simple route. Upon entering the building, you enter the locker room, which is directly there on your left-hand side. Open this door, walk through a hallway, through a broken wall, and then proceed forward, and then bam, you are in the room again where you need to do terminal repairs and pipe repairs. So again, following my route as best you can, clicking on all the pipes and terminals, you can fix everything. Now, I again didn't say this earlier, but you don't need to actually fix every single pipe. You get to a certain point where it becomes optional to fix all of the pipes and terminals. I like to do it because you get bonus loot for doing so, and it's really not that much more time. So that's it, we've repaired all the terminals, all the pipes, and now we need to actually reset Thunder Mountain. So if you again retrace your steps back to the entrance of this building, you simply just have to head up these stairs, make a left, and then your control room is there. There are often 2 turrets and a Scorch that spawn in here. In this case in my recording, there weren't. But just be wary of that. These turrets are powerful and can be a pain. But you then just access this terminal, restart the power plant, and bam! You have power now at your workshop and have completed the event powering up Thunder Mountain.
The guys and I were live this week over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg playing Dead by Daylight. Yes, I played Dead by Daylight. I don't play these games ever. I don't want to play that game, but somehow I got roped in. So how did I do? Find out.
Don't stay around too long. It might notify Drew.
Oh yeah, when you hear that heartbeat.
Yeah. No.
Who's screaming?
Again.
Oh no!
No, Steve.
I couldn't jump over that. I thought you could jump over the desk. Alright, you guys will save me this time.
Oh man, that is just something.
He's setting up a trap down to the right of me.
Okay. Zip it.
This is so cheap because you usually can't do this in games.
Yeah, for sure.
What?
What? Oh!
Oh no!
Oh.
Another trap. That same one trap. It's got 4.
Shot me.
Wiggle.
Oh,
Oh, he wiggled free.
Later, suckers.
I'm hunting you down,
Yeah,
buddy.
you pick up.
Don't you worry.
Steve! Oh my.
To be fair, he was never going to survive that.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, that is brutal. Here, stay there.
How are you so fast?
What did you come from there?
I was coming back.
Oh, you're good. I thought you chased Nate. I didn't think you were chasing me.
Get over here.
Oh, that's
Trap! It's already closed.
Oh, I know. I know that one all too well.
Oh no, as he says it.
I know that one. I said no, not this one.
No.
Problem is, I don't know where you are.
That's good. Keep it that way.
Oh, can you get free?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just asking how the game's played. I don't know.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, you.
That's too bad.
Is there generators one on each floor kind of thing?
I don't know. They're kind of.
Well, we got one on each floor so far.
Man, I feel like I'm just wandering around in circles.
Oh, I got one here, Corey.
It was kind of near the first one.
I got one too. I got one too.
It's funny watching Nate walk around with his lunchbox.
Not knowing what to...
Oh no! I didn't even see this one. Nice. That was a good one there. Uh-oh. Give me a second here. I just gotta get out of that. Oh no! Wow. Okay.
Executed him.
There we go.
What happened to the hook thing?
Bypassed it.
For the last one. So I gotta. Did I have fun?
Oh, man.
That's gonna be 2 red circles out of 5 there. I'm kidding. That was so sad.
Well, that'll wrap things up for today's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us. And of course, if you want to be featured in the show, all you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. This week, however, we have the one, the only, Skate TV, our boy Corey, hitting it up in some split game. We'll see you next week, Inside the Game.
Double kill. Game over. Victory.